hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Scoreboard. Happy Tuesday to you. I'll tell you what, I'm still getting used to the show being on, the Scoreboard being on in the dark. Scoreboard after dark, if you will. Well, technically not yet. I believe the sun is still up. Anyway, we have a lot to talk about today. 844 Studio 4. That's 844-788-3464. If you were with us yesterday, thank you for joining. We talked to Pine Lake Prep Varsity Soccer. Coach Ebenho and Jack Ramanada joining us in the studio to talk about Pine Lake's season. Playoffs and playoff brackets will be released on Thursday for high school soccer. So keep that in mind as you go through the week, as we talk through the week here on the Scoreboard. We will have some playoff soccer to talk about. One thing that we didn't have a chance to talk about yesterday is high school volleyball. Yes, high school varsity volleyball. The volleyball scene ending as of this past weekend. Saturday, we had all of our state championship games, 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A, were all in action over the weekend. Now, today, what we'll do is we'll go over those state champions. A reminder that there was nobody in our immediate listening area that was a part of the play, a part of a state championship game. Unfortunate, yes, we did highlight a few schools, though, that made a good run this year. Lake Norman always having a good run in sports, making a deep playoff run. You had North Iredell. North Iredell made it all the way to the semifinals, all the way to the regionals, to the Final Four. Unfortunately, they were not able to get the win to go play for a state championship. But we do have all the results of these games from 1A all the way down to 4A. And then also what we'll do today, just really quickly, is go over the football scene. A lot of schools have ended the regular season already. There are a few that still have to play another game, and a lot of this has to do with the rescheduling, reshuffling that was done after Hurricane Helene came through and devastated a lot of the mountains here in North Carolina. So we do have one more week of regular season action. Nobody really in our immediate area is playing. North Lincoln is going to be in action on Friday, but they're not going to be a playoff contender. It's more just we have to play this game as part of our schedule. So we will talk a little bit about that. Today was a special day in the NFL, the trade deadline. And once again, it was disappointing. Now, that's not to say that nothing happened and there were absolutely no trades. But I say it every year, the NFL has the most disappointing trade deadline. There are nowhere near as many moves in the NFL as there is in the NBA, the NHL, even the MLB. This year, they had a really big deadline. If you remember back to the summer when the MLB deadline was, we had trades that were coming in and being reported after the trade deadline had passed, just because of the backlog of trades that were submitted. Not the case with the NFL. We pretty much knew the scene. I got the who won free agency or who won the trade deadline, I got that article like 10 minutes after 4 o'clock. The deadline was at 4 o'clock, and the article was written and ready to go 10 minutes later. That goes to show you how little movement there was in the NFL trade deadline. But the deadline today, a couple of teams making some moves. The Panthers offloading yet another wide receiver from their roster. We will definitely talk about that, touch on what to expect in the future for the Carolina Panthers. So the trade deadline has come and gone, and Bryce Young still on the roster. I said this a couple of weeks ago. If he looked decent and got a win or two in the couple of games that he started since Andy Dalton's thumb injury, they might stick with him through the bye week, which is coming up after the Panthers play the Giants in Germany, 9 a.m. on Sunday. Who's going to be waking up for that one? Yesterday, we also touched a lot on the NASCAR Cup Series. We had the penultimate race, the final chance to lock yourself into the championship 4, and a lot of drama, a lot of problems. NASCAR tripping over themselves yet again, continuing to be a problem. I might touch more on this later today. If anything, we're going to save it for the tail end of the program because we do have a lot to go over. Now, we also, last night, we had an NFL game. Yeah, Monday Night Football. The Buccaneers, the Chiefs, and I've been saying it. I like the Buccaneers. I think they're a good team. I may have a little bit of a bone to pick with Coach Bowles and how he managed the final drive of the game and the final play for Baker Mayfield and the offense. We'll get into that a little bit later. But first, like I said, we do have to get into high school volleyball. State championships have been decided. I want to let you know who won these state championships. So I'm going to pop a squat right here, and we're going to go over all of these championship games. Starting with the 1A state championship game, the Polk County Wolverines win the title in straight sets, 3-0 against Perqueums High School. The sets were 25-15, 27-25, and 25-12. Not really all that close, but Polk County. Congratulations to Polk County for winning the 1A state championship. And it's the program's second straight NCHSAA championship, which, that's wonderful to see. In the 2A state championship, it was McMichael High School holding off Seaford High School in 5 sets. They went back and forth in this one. Seaforth won 25-17 in the first set. McMichael gets the next 2 sets, 25-22, 25-18. Seaforth forced the game 5 with a 25-22 win, and McMichael came out on top in a very competitive 15-13 final set. So congratulations, McMichael High School. In 3A, it was West Henderson who won their 6th title in program history over J.H. Rose High School. It was a 4-set game, 3-1 title, the first title since 2008 for West Henderson. And last but not least, the 4A state championship game between Marvin Ridge and Cardinal Gibbons. It was Cardinal Gibbons who capped off the undefeated season with their 12th volleyball championship in program history. Congratulations to all of the high school athletes in volleyball this year. Great season. We're going to talk a little bit of football when we're back, so don't go anywhere. We're back after this.
This guy knows his sports, right? There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
We'll keep the umbrella within close reach today, especially if you're headed out to the polls. Not expecting much of the way of rain, but a sprinkle or an isolated shower, not out of the question. Otherwise, partly cloudy skies. Temperatures warm into the mid-70s for this afternoon. Dropping off into the low 60s overnight with a mostly cloudy sky and a sprinkle. We'll keep that isolated shower chance in the forecast with the clouds in mid-70s for our Wednesday. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The WSIC app is available now wherever you get your apps, featuring local deals from great local businesses like Nina's Boutique.
Cakes and cookies, toys and gifts. The Southern Christmas Show, November 14th through 24th at the Park Expo and Conference Center. Save on tickets at southernChristmasShow.com, courtesy of Kraft Body Scan. The Southern Christmas Show.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. The dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway presents the World of Outlaws World Finals Wednesday through Saturday. Catch dirt racing's top 3 series for 4 days of action to decide their championships, featuring the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series, the World of Outlaws Late Model Series, and the Super Dirt Car Big Block Modifieds. Single day and 4-day ticket packages plus camping information are all available at charlottemotorspeedway.com. Often imitated, never duplicated. The World of Outlaws World Finals invade the Charlotte Motor Speedway dirt track this weekend. Ghostface Brewing in Mooresville is having a veteran celebration on Sunday. Rocky Lynn will perform and rock the lot in a special outdoor concert. Beer Lab and Ghostface Brewing will be offering their full menu of drinks and food. Bring your chairs and enjoy this Veterans Day salute with a Rocky Lynn concert, Sunday at Ghostface Brewing in Mooresville. The Mooresville Veterans Day Parade and celebration honors veterans from all branches and from all conflicts. The parade begins Monday, November 11th at Richard's Coffee Shop at 1 p.m. and travels to Mooresville Town Hall. Come join and say thank you to our veterans and hometown heroes on Monday, November 11th in downtown Mooresville. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
The Renaissance Festival is back, Saturdays and Sundays, now through November 24th. There's music, comedy, circus entertainments, huzzah! Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com, while supplies last.
Prioritizing your health is one of the best ways to take care of yourself. From routine visits to the joys of pregnancy, to the illnesses that stop you in your tracks, Iredell Health System will be by your side. Learn more at iredellhealth.org.
Number 1 for talk in Lake Norman, Statesville.
105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Now more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the Scoreboard. 844 Studio 4. That's 844-788-3464. If you have something on your mind that you want to chat about, I'm here for you. Yes, I am. We got, oh man, how much time do we have left on the Scoreboard here today? We're looking at about 40 minutes remaining. So if you have something on your mind that you want to chat about, I'm here for you. We've been talking high school sports. We started with the volleyball scene, things ending in volleyball recently, going over all of those state champions. Congratulations, Polk County, McMichael High School, West Henderson, and Cardinal Gibbons High School. All of those programs winning the state championship for women's volleyball. Big congratulations. Now, we have more state championships coming up. Tennis had some state championships going on recently. We have playoff brackets being released this week for high school soccer, men's soccer, and then in a couple of weeks, we have varsity football playoffs will be upon us. We will get the rankings here shortly. We're still a little bit away from that. I know there's still games that need to be played this week, so we can't rush that. But football seeding is going to be on the 10th of the month, and then the first round of the playoffs 10 days from now. So not this Friday, but next Friday. We will have high school football playoffs in action. We've been waiting all season for those playoffs to roll around. Now, how did some of the schools in our area do? Well, let's Let's go over those. I want to start closer to the lake with Mooresville High School, who, in my opinion, had the best year out of anybody in our local area. Mooresville High School had a 9-1 regular season, only dropping one game on a last-minute get tackled at the 5-yard line from what we learned about that game. Mooresville High School, 9-1 on the year. They ended the season with a win against Lake Norman. 6-0 in the Greater Metro 4A Conference. Undefeated season. Number 1 team in the area. In North Carolina, the Mooresville Blue Devils are ranked 18th according to Max Preps. So that is going to be a team to keep an eye on as we head into the playoffs. A lot of dominating wins by this school. And they had a stretch of 6 games. I'm sorry, a stretch of 7 games where they did not allow double digits in points. West Rowan 66-0, Cox Mill 55-0, Hickory Ridge 56-7, Providence 29-3, South Iredell 28-9, West Cabarrus 49-0, A.L. Brown 49-7. That's 7 consecutive games where they did not give up double digits in points. Absolutely incredible run in the regular season for Mooresville. It's great. Let's see if they can keep that winning going in the playoffs. One school that had a good season, I wouldn't classify it as great, especially what we've seen of them in the past. The Lake Norman Wildcats. That varsity football team went 7-3 this year, 4-2 in the Greater Metro 4A Conference. They were good enough for second within the conference. Last game of the year was against Mooresville, like we just stated, that 35-20 loss for Lake Norman. But they'll still get a pretty good bid into the playoffs, in my opinion. I don't think they're going to be a team to beat, but nothing would shock me with Lake Norman High School. They consistently put up good showings in the playoffs, and like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up going on a run of some kind. So congratulations to Lake Norman, 7-3 on the year. Another school that had a great season, the Statesville Greyhounds. That varsity football team went 8-2 on the year, with the only 2 losses of the season coming to North Lincoln and Hickory High School. Hickory High School, that game was in Hickory, final game of the regular season. We knew it was going to be a tough one, as Hickory 10-0 on the year, 16th ranked team in the state of North Carolina. Definitely a team to beat in 3A, but Statesville High School was unable to get it done. They lost that game 35-20. Actually, same exact score as what we saw with Lake Norman and Mooresville, interestingly enough. The 2 losses, like I said, were to North Lincoln and Hickory. Other than that, Statesville High School had a very good football season. Comparing it to last year, they went good. They had a good season, 7-3 in the regular season last year. They won the first game of the playoffs and then lost to Crest High School. This year, they're going into the playoffs with 1 win more than they did last year. So we will see. Hopefully, Statesville is able to make a run in these playoffs. Other schools that I want to shout out in the area, just as a general great season to them. South Iredell, they went 6-4 on the year, 4-2 within their conference. I think they're going to be in the playoffs. I do. Probably not as a very good seed. They might end up, maybe they match up against somebody who, I don't know, like a Mooresville or a Lake Norman, somebody who had a really good game. Now, they did play both of those schools as they're part of the conference, and they lost to both Mooresville and Lake Norman already. But South Iredell, 6-4 on the year, a great season for them, and 4-2 in the regular season. We'll see what ends up happening with the seeding on that one. It's going to be interesting to see what South Iredell ends up coming in as, because I don't expect them to be the best seed in the playoffs, but also, 6-4 in a 4A Greater Metro Conference. That's a good season. So we'll see. Those, like I said, those rankings and ratings are going to be coming out relatively soon. A couple of schools that will not be participating in the playoffs, starting with North Iredell High School. Tough year, 4-6 on the season, but they did win their final game of the year, 36-15. That win was against West Iredell, and West Iredell has had a very, very rough season. 2-7 as of right now. And I will say West Iredell is one of the schools that was affected and actually does have a game coming up this week. They will be playing Ford High School, who is still looking for win number 1 on the year. So 2-7 for West Iredell. They'll be playing 0-9 Ford High School. I don't know about you guys, but I am excited for high school playoffs. I mean, it's going to be a great time. Last year, there were some surprises. You saw Independence High School. They were like the 22 seed, and they made a run into the regionals, into the Final Four. So it's going to be very interesting to see who the Cinderella teams end up being this year. I mean, it feels weird to call Independence High School a Cinderella team, but when you look at their ranking and where they were in the playoffs and where they were seated, yeah, 22, number 22, that's a Cinderella right there. So very interesting to see what's going to happen this time around. I, for one, am pretty excited about it. We will cover all of the high school festivities. It's going to be pretty busy here over the past couple of weeks, in the next couple of weeks in high school. Because like I said, we got soccer releasing their brackets on Thursday. And then you will have over the weekend football release their brackets as well. So we are getting into some real high school playoff action. Some of them already done, some of them still yet to be decided. We will talk about it next week whenever we have all of the information in front of us. As we move through the program, I do want to actually mention one thing that I saw out of the NBA. Joel Embiid was suspended by the NBA for shoving a Philadelphia Inquirer columnist, Marcus Hayes. Now, this has to do with what we've talked about at the beginning of the year with Joel Embiid not playing. He's hurt. He's got leg injuries. He's always been an injury-prone player. But fed up with the questions, I guess. And, his anger got the best of him. It's unfortunate. I don't know if it really matters that he was suspended 3 games, considering he hasn't been playing. But yeah, that is some breaking news that came out earlier today from the NBA. The incident was last night. And today, the NBA coming down with the ruling that Joel Embiid has been suspended 3 games for shoving a columnist. Not a good look, ladies and gentlemen. That's Philadelphia for you. We're going to head to our next commercial break of the day. When we come back, we're going to talk about the NFL trade deadline. The Panthers making some moves. Good, bad? Well, you'll find out. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this.
Keep it right here. We'll have more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg in just a moment from 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
We'll keep the umbrella within close reach today, especially if you're headed out to the polls. Not expecting much of the way of rain, but a sprinkle or an isolated shower, not out of the question. Otherwise, partly cloudy skies. Temperatures warm into the mid-70s for this afternoon. Dropping off into the low 60s overnight with a mostly cloudy sky and a sprinkle. We'll keep that isolated shower chance in the forecast with the clouds in mid-70s for our Wednesday. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Temperatures are heating up, but the prices are cooling down at Randy Marion Ford Lincoln here in Statesville. How about this? Over $8,000 off F-150s. That's the XLT trim, that's the Lariat trim, that's the Platinum trim, that's the Limited trim. That is the Crew Cab, that is the Super Cab. You name it, Randy Marion Ford. We got it right here in Statesville at a big discount on F-150s. Again, over $8,000 off. Come see us today, I-77, exit 49B.
Harness the healing power of horses. With the amazing staff at Willow Equine in Mooresville, we create a supportive environment conducive to healing and growth, dedicated to self-discovery and overcoming adversity. There's a program for you at willowequine.com.
A good soul isn't hard to find, especially if you're listening to WSIC on Tuesdays at 4.
Hello, and welcome to The Good Soul.
The Good Soul, hosted by Patty Alvarez, features real-world conversations that leave you feeling happy and rejuvenated.
Bob McIntosh here with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Serving this community has been a collective passion of our law firm since 1997. We offer the quality legal services and results you would expect from a large downtown firm, but with a personal, community-focused approach right here at home. The McIntosh Law Firm, your local legal resource.
To learn more about the McIntosh Law Firm, visit McIntoshLawFirm.com.
This $99 travel offer is for vacation-minded consumers who see the value in owning a timeshare. If you're the kind of person that loves going to the same destination every year, a timeshare can be perfect for you. And Westgate Resorts is the right company to call. We may have the perfect vacation destination for you. With a timeshare, you own, not rent. The beauty of a timeshare vacation is it's a fixed cost. So with rising costs of vacation travel, at least you know your cost is fixed, and you can take your family for years to the same great place, or you trade weeks if you like. It's like owning a vacation home without owning the headaches. And for just $99, we'll give you 3 days to come check us out. Call Westgate right now.
Call 800-380-7424. 800-380-7424. 800-380-7424. Again, that's 800-380-7424.
I'm Bryce Johnson with this Unpacking It Sports and Faith Minute. As football fans, we love to see big offensive plays. However, it's often the teams that incrementally move the ball down the field that experience the most overall success. What if we adopted this approach in our own lives? Instead of always chasing big plays, what if we focused more on doing the small things well? When we live an obedient life as followers of Jesus by faithfully doing little things for the Lord each day, we keep taking steps forward. They might not be drastic changes overnight, but we can slowly take steps toward transformation. Job says in the Bible, "My feet have carefully followed his steps. I have kept his ways and not turned aside." Today, let's alleviate the pressure of always having to do something spectacular, and let's make moment-by-moment decisions to do the little things that God is calling us to do. I'm Bryce Johnson, and you can unpack that. For more, go to unpackingit.com.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute, a blowout session on Wall Street on this election day, but it was because of a run-up in tech shares, thanks to demand for artificial intelligence products. The Dow up 427 points, a 1% gain. The Nasdaq up 259, nearly 1.5% higher, and the S&P added 70. The big gainer shares of AI software maker Palantir Technologies shooting up 23%, following blowout earnings late yesterday and citing, quote, unwavering demand for all things AI. Even sent shares of AI chipmaker NVIDIA up nearly 3%. Hourly workers at Boeing will head back to its factories in California, Washington, and Oregon tomorrow after the striking machinists union voted to accept a new contract. It gives them a 38% wage hike over 4 years and a $12,000 signing bonus. And hurricane season not over yet. Chevron temporarily shutting down oil and gas production at rigs in the Gulf of Mexico. That's ahead of Tropical Storm Rafael. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
It's the Scoreboard with your host, Sports Director Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back to the program, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the Scoreboard, 844 Studio 4. That's 844-788-3464. Anything on your mind that you want to chat about? I'm here for you. I told you we were going to talk a little NFL trade deadline. Yes, the deadline is upon us. It happened earlier today, 4 p.m. No more trades. You're done. Hopefully, everybody got what they needed to do. So, the NFL trade deadline to me is so boring. It really is. They try to hype it up every year, and this year it seemed like it was going well. Like there were a few trades, but by my count, and I might be wrong, there are only 8 deadline transactions. Yeah, I have that count right. Today, the final day to make trades, there were 8 total trades. It seems a little low to me. But throughout the course of the season, we have had 18 trades. Now, I have a few of those here for you that I want to make sure that we talk about. Remember earlier, we had the Browns trade for Amari Cooper. You had the Jets trading for Devontae Adams. The Panthers sending Deontay Johnson to the Ravens. Well, the Panthers made another move this offseason. Last year's second-round draft pick for the Panthers, Jonathan Mingo, wide receiver. So the Panthers are sending Jonathan Mingo and a 7th-round draft pick to the Dallas Cowboys for a 4th-round pick in this year's upcoming draft. I like this one a lot better than the Deontay Johnson trade because the Deontay Johnson trade never made sense to me. I mean, unless they did it specifically to offload him, get him off the team, then it makes sense. But really, when you trade your 6th-round pick for their 5th-round pick, you're basically saying we don't want to pick in the first 3 picks of the 5th round or of the 6th round. We want to pick at the end of the 5th round. We're talking about they moved up 4 or 5 positions in the grand scheme of things. And we'll really be able to know how much they moved up at the end of the season when, playoffs are over, when we know what the draft order is. I don't hate the move. Mingo really hasn't been all that great for the Panthers. And, it is what it is. You spent a 2nd-round draft pick on him, and you only get a 4th-round pick in return. It's just the mismanagement that's been going on for the past decade for the Panthers. I mean, they had that year where they went to the Super Bowl. And since then, it's been all downhill for this team. It's really unfortunate. There were a few other trades around the league that I think are noteworthy. Tre'Davious White was traded from the Rams to the Ravens. You had Mike Williams sent from the Jets to the Steelers. Now, do you remember when Aaron Rodgers basically blamed Mike Williams for running the wrong route a couple of weeks ago? I forget who they were playing, but Aaron Rodgers threw him under the bus, basically. And then Mike Williams took some personal time off, and now he is no longer a member of the Jets. He heads to the Steelers for a 5th-round pick. The Commanders have been making moves as well. They end up getting Marshawn Lattimore from the Saints for a 3rd, 4th, and 6th-round pick in this year's upcoming draft. I don't blame the Commanders for doing this. I don't. I mean, they have had a very good year, and I really don't know how many people thought that they were going to be a viable team this year. Yeah, you got the rookie quarterback in there, but they've been pretty bad for a while now. So it was a little bit of a surprise to see, hey, The Commanders are leading the NFC East right now. But with that being said, we're now halfway point of the season. They're going all in. I don't blame them. You got to do it while you have the cap room on a young quarterback. That's really what it comes down to. When you have that cap room for having, look at what the 49ers have been able to do over the past few years, right? I mean, they have been able to keep talent around because Brock Purdy is not making a lot of money. So they're able to surround Brock Purdy with talent. And that's exactly what the Commanders are doing. Now, obviously, the Panthers hadn't been able to do that, but they are making moves at least and trying to, rectify things and see if they can continue to build this program. It's going to take them a while. It really is. So don't expect anything to happen overnight. But the trade deadline has now come and gone. We know how many draft picks the Panthers are going to have. We know what rounds they're going to be in. We just don't really know when they're going to pick yet. And they have a chance to improve their draft position this coming Sunday. Now, if you're a Panther fan at this point in the year, 2 wins, no path to the playoffs. I mean, maybe they haven't been mathematically eliminated yet, but no path to the playoffs. Do you want them to beat the Giants? I feel like it's catch-22 because, no, you don't want them to beat the Giants. You want the Panthers to lose to hold on to a good draft spot. But at the same time, you'd like to see Bryce Young perform well, win close games, and show that he is the number one quarterback for this team moving forward. So it just feels like a catch-22 this coming weekend. And after the bye week, man, we've gone over the Panthers' schedule and what they have coming up after the bye week. It's not pretty. I mean, you play the Giants this week, and then you go on the bye. Then you have the Chiefs, the Bucks, the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Cardinals, the Buccaneers, and the Falcons. All of those teams are right around 500. The Chiefs haven't lost yet. The Buccaneers were 500 going into play the Chiefs and played them really well, played them into overtime. We'll talk a little bit about that game coming up. The Eagles with Saquon Barkley are going to be dangerous. I mean, that is an insane team. The Cardinals, a very good surprise this year. And then you have the Falcons, who have really started to figure it out. Maybe one more win for the Panthers wouldn't hurt. Getting that one win against the Giants, and then I just don't see them winning any games after that unless they luck their way into one. I mean, they are playing some stiff competition for the remainder of the year. That is when I would expect the decision to be made on Bryce Young, because if you are going to stick with Bryce Young next year, you leave him in there for those games and you say, young man, go figure it out. I know we did the same thing to you last year, but we're going to do it again this year. Go figure it out. So we'll see what they decide to do with Bryce Young. Maybe they move him this offseason. I could be completely wrong about all this. This is all just speculation. We got one more segment here on this beautiful Tuesday. It is dark out now, ladies and gentlemen. Still getting used to that. Man. Don't go anywhere. We're going to talk a little football, maybe a little NASCAR, and we will do this day in sports history today. I promise. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
We'll keep the umbrella within close reach today, especially if you're headed out to the polls. Not expecting much of the way of rain, but a sprinkle or an isolated shower, not out of the question. Otherwise, partly cloudy skies. Temperatures warm into the mid-70s for this afternoon. Dropping off into the low 60s overnight with a mostly cloudy sky and a sprinkle. We'll keep that isolated shower chance in the forecast with the clouds in mid-70s for our Wednesday. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Cakes and cookies, toys and gifts. The Southern Christmas Show, November 14th through 24th at the Park Expo and Conference Center. Save on tickets at southernChristmasShow.com, courtesy of Kraft Body Scan.
The Southern Christmas Show.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. The dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway presents the World of Outlaws World Finals Wednesday through Saturday. Catch dirt racing's top 3 series for 4 days of action to decide their championships, featuring the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series, the World of Outlaws Late Model Series, and the Super Dirt Car Big Block Modifieds. Single day and 4-day ticket packages plus camping information are all available at charlottemotorspeedway.com. Often imitated, never duplicated. The World of Outlaws World Finals invade the Charlotte Motor Speedway dirt track this weekend. Ghostface Brewing in Mooresville is having a veteran celebration on Sunday. Rocky Lynn will perform and rock the lot in a special outdoor concert. Beer Lab and Ghostface Brewing will be offering their full menu of drinks and food. Bring your chairs and enjoy this Veterans Day salute with a Rocky Lynn concert, Sunday at Ghostface Brewing in Mooresville. The Mooresville Veterans Day Parade and celebration honors veterans from all branches and from all conflicts. The parade begins Monday, November 11th at Richard's Coffee Shop at 1 p.m. and travels to Mooresville Town Hall. Come join and say thank you to our veterans and hometown heroes on Monday, November 11th in downtown Mooresville. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
The Renaissance Festival is back Saturdays and Sundays. Now through November 24th, there's music, comedy, circus entertainments. Huzzah! Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com while supplies last.
If you're a builder and you haven't went to Little Shaver's Wood Shop, you're missing all types of lumber products, hard to find woods and paneling materials that are in stock and ready to help you conquer anything the job throws your way. Locally owned, Little Shaver's Wood Shop has a friendly, knowledgeable staff to get you in, out, and on with your day. Little Shaver's Wood Shop, 3301 Salisbury Highway in Statesville. Little Shaver's Wood Shop, LILshavers.com.
Now more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Final segment, ladies and gentlemen. Last chance for your phone calls. 844-STUDIO-4. That is 844-788-3464. I do want to talk a little bit about Monday night's football game. And let's just skip ahead to the fourth quarter, to the end of the game. The Buccaneers drive down the field, put it in the end zone to tie the game. Well, they put it in the end zone to make it a 1-point game, right? 24-23, extra point looming. And with about 30 seconds to go on the game clock, the Buccaneers decide to kick the extra point. They end up forcing a 3-and-out from the Chiefs and going into overtime, where the Chiefs win the toss. They drive down the field, score a touchdown, and that is it for Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. You don't get the ball back in the regular season. And after the game, I'm watching SportsCenter, and I'm listening to the analysis and hearing from the players. And then the analysts start talking about, and the headline that they were using was, should the Buccaneers have gone for 2? And I'm sitting there thinking, man, the coaching philosophy and the way we think about coaching and play calls and decision making has completely changed, because 10, 15 years ago, nobody's even thinking about doing that. It's, let's kick the extra point. Let's go to overtime and see what happens. But recently, and this all has to do with analytics and advanced stats and what's the percentage to win if we do this versus the percentage to win if we do this. Recently, you've seen a lot of teams going for 2 in interesting situations. Like that would have been an interesting situation to go for 2. You're down 7, you score a touchdown to make it a 1-point game, 30 seconds left on the clock, go for 2 to try to win it. But that's not what they decided to do. What you will see a lot more now is if you're down 14 late in the game and you score the touchdown to make it a 1-possession game, you'll see teams go for 2. Because if they convert, if they get it and they get the 2-point conversion and then they get the ball back, a touchdown and extra point gives them a 1-point lead. And if they miss the 2-point conversion, well, you get the ball back, you score, and then you got to get another 2-point conversion in there to tie the game. You know, you're pretty statistically likely to get one of 2 2-point conversions. But we don't see it as much in a 1-possession game. We just scored. Instead of going to overtime, we're going to go for 2 and try to win the game. And I do wish more teams would do that only because of the way that overtime is in the NFL. If it was like college football, where each team's going to get possessions and we're going to change it up every now and then, you got to kick the extra point versus going for 2 versus just 2-point conversion plays. In the NFL, if you go to overtime and the team that gets the ball first scores a touchdown, it's game over. For that reason, I personally would be more likely to go for 2 in that situation, especially going up against the undefeated Kansas City Chiefs, because we saw what happened. The Chiefs got the ball. It was when it mattered most. They drive right down the field with no resistance, score a touchdown, game over. And the Buccaneers never had a chance. That's just one of the things that I noticed from this Monday Night Football game. As always, Peyton and Eli are the way to go. If you are not watching Peyton and Eli versus the regular ESPN broadcast, you are missing out. You had Eli Manning doing a headstand after the game last night. I mean, just those are some fun broadcasts. Fun broadcasts to watch. Let's change gears here and look at the NASCAR scene. Last night, there was the preliminary injunction with NASCAR and 2311 and Front Row Motorsports with the charter agreement and the lawsuit that's going on. Basically, both sides went to court, expressed why they should be able to be a chartered team, remove the stipulation that if they sign the charter, they are not allowed to sue for antitrust and be a chartered team, because the payout that you get as a chartered team versus a non-chartered team is significant. And what happens if sponsors walk? If 2311 or Front Row Racing lose their sponsorships, we might lose those teams altogether. It's a really bad situation for NASCAR, but the preliminary injunction was yesterday. We expect to have a ruling by Friday per the judge. This is what was said and what was being reported, that hopefully we have a decision by Friday, which is when Friday is actually the first time that the Cup cars are going to be on track for championship weekend. Now, the weekend schedule is long this week. Earlier today, you had your first event. Yeah, it's Tuesday, and we are already having things happen. Maybe not on track, but it is still Championship 4 time. The NASCAR Cup Series had their Championship 4 drivers for a mini press conference, I'd say, and we are going to hear from those drivers throughout the week. Thursday is when the on-track festivities are going to begin. You have the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series practicing at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. The ARCA Menards West Series is going to practice at 8, and then they will qualify at 9:30. Friday afternoon at 10:30, it's the Desert Diamond Casino West Valley 100. That is the Arca Menards West Series. Then at 4 o'clock, it'll be NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series qualifying, followed by practice by both the Xfinity and the Cup Series. Xfinity at 5 o'clock, Cup Series at 6 o'clock. And then Saturday, you have Xfinity qualifying and Cup qualifying. Those will be at 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock. The Xfinity Championship race is at 7 p.m. on Saturday, and then on Sunday, the big show, the one that everybody's got their eyes on, the NASCAR Cup Series Championship race from the Phoenix Raceway, 3 o'clock. You can catch that race right here on WSIC. Yes, we will be broadcasting on 105.9, 100.7 FM, 1400 AM, the conclusion to the NASCAR Cup Series season. A champion will be crowned 3 p.m. on NBC. And if you're listening to the broadcast here on WSIC, it'll be brought to you by the Motor Racing Network. The final 4 drivers for the NASCAR Cup Series are Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, Tyler Reddick, and controversially, William Byron. Really, there's more controversy than one when it comes to who deserves to be racing for a championship. Here are some stats from the drivers racing for a championship. All of them have 3 wins on the year. Joey Logano has only 6 top 5s, 3 of which were wins, keep that in mind, and 12 top 10s. Ryan Blaney with 11 top 5s and 17 top 10s. Tyler Reddick and William Byron both had 12 top 5s and 20 top 10s each. So you can see there is a little separation between the skill level of the season and why is Joey Logano racing for a championship? Why is Ryan Blaney racing for a championship? Tyler Reddick, I understand. He was the regular season champion. And I wanted to get into the point system today and talk about the playoffs a little bit more because yesterday we spent time on just the Martinsville race. And I do have some ideas for NASCAR, and I'm not in any way thinking that they're going to be listening to this show. But I do think that it's worthwhile to, if we are going to be so critical of the playoff format and the way that we crown a champion, we should at least come up with other possibilities, other things that can be done, other systems, other formats, something that we're just not yelling at NASCAR to change it, but we have no idea of what we want it changed to. We'll do that a little bit more tomorrow. I do want to get it because I do have a few ideas, and I've been listening to Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Dale Jr., Door Bumper Clear, the Teardown, all of them after this controversial race at Martinsville, just to hear perspective. And I think I have a little bit of an idea. So we'll go over that tomorrow. Final 45 seconds of the program, ladies and gentlemen. On this day in 1978, the Oakland Raiders head coach, John Madden, becomes the 13th coach in NFL history to win 100 NFL games. Also in 1996, Derek Jeter was the unanimous choice for American League Rookie of the Year. Oh, Yankees, how you broke my heart. Thanks, everyone, for tuning into the Scoreboard today. We had a lot of fun on air with you. I'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. Until then, have a great night, everyone.
Serving you better than ever before.